Hey everyone, it's Fitz with Walk Talk, and guess what I'm going to do this week? I'm actually walking and talking. It's crazy. Kansas State wins 48-0. Any reports that I picked Oklahoma State to win this game are false. They're just false. I would never have done that. Literally no one could see what happened here coming. Why? Because literally that's never happened. And I mean that. That is the most significant defeat of a top 10 team by a lesser ranked program in the history of college football. And it's the fifth largest loss by a top 10 team in the season, but in a season. And the other four were losses to higher ranked teams. So literally, if you're at the game, you saw something nobody else has ever seen in college football history. Will Howard. And I've never felt, I cover the team. I'm here to be a journalist, but it's impossible not to just be really happy for that kid. I mean, really happy for Will Howard. He's been through a lot. A lot of us doubted him. A lot of people didn't want him around. But he has consistently shown in practice that he prepares for games. He gets ready to play even when he's not expected to play. We saw it last week, and then he had basically the full preparation this week because Adrian Martinez, it did come down to right before the game. And Adrian told coach, I'm not 100%. I won't be able to do some of the things that I usually do. And Chris Kleiman said, I appreciate his honesty because, we made the decision right there that we were going to roll with Will. Now, I still think they want to get that red shirt on Will, but it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing how well he played, and you begin to wonder, do they need to keep him in the playing mix? Keep in mind, Will Howard, because of the COVID season, has 2 years, even without using his red shirt. So if they can get a red shirt on him, which means playing 4 or fewer games, he's played 2 now, he would have 3 years. Avery Johnson coming in, other good quarterbacks in this program. So it's interesting. It's very interesting to me that this is where K-State is at in their quarterback situation. It's impressive. And as Chris Kleiman said, nobody asked about Deuce Vaughn. But that, nobody asked questions about Deuce Vaughn after 150 yards of offense. We finally saw maybe a glimpse of what this K-State team can be, will be in the future. And as they all said, they've left some plays out there on the field too. It was probably the best performance by the K-State defense I've seen in a very, very long time. They're just absolutely stifling. And while we all talk about Will Howard, let's give a shout out to Nick Allen, who stepped in for Deuce Green on the defensive side and played his heart out, led the team in tackles, was really good all game long. The defense was brilliant. Will Howard was brilliant. The crowd was great. The day was beautiful. And I think right here would be right next to Coach Snyder here, right there. I think right here would be a good place for the Will Howard statue. Just a mystifying performance by Kansas State in a good way. I mean, it just was totally unpredictable that this would happen in that manner. K-State, Texas next week, 6 p.m. kick. Games on FS1. We'll shift to Fox if there's no World Series game, if the World Series is over by then. But there is a game scheduled for then if the series goes that far. Wish I had a lot more to say, but we are going to give you a bonus podcast. Cole Carmody is waiting here in the car. We're going to head over to the studio and knock out a podcast, and then I'll get with Brian Hanley tomorrow and do a second podcast, post-game podcast, because this one deserves to be talked about a lot. So I hope you listen along. Wow. That's really all you can say.